All right, let's talk about money. We're back with the Fox News alert. February's Producer Price Index report just came out 6 minutes ago, and it shows wholesale inflation is up by 0.6% from January, which is more than expected. And year over year, prices for domestic manufacturers are up 1.6%. That's actual. Let's bring in Republican Senator from the great state of Louisiana, John Kennedy, who sits on the Senate Budget Committee. Senator, the numbers are not going in the right direction.
Well, I'm disappointed. I can't say that I'm surprised, Steve. Look, President Biden is an inflation machine. And you know, we talk about the CPI and the PPI and the NBA and the NFL. The average American doesn't have time to stop and research this. All they know, let me give you a concrete example. My people in Louisiana, median household income $55,000 a year. Yep. President Biden's inflation is costing them an extra $10,000 a year, and they don't have it.
No kidding. This
was predictable. You can't print, borrow, and spend the kind of money that President Biden has without causing inflation. And I don't know why his colleagues at the White House didn't tell him that.
Yeah.
Some days I think the Biden White House would lower the average IQ of an entire city. I mean, this is really basic economics 101.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens, because it sure feels like the prices are just way too high for whatever you pay for. We just did a segment, whether it's deodorant or dog food, the prices are just stuck really high.
And the worst part of it is, even if the inflation were to come down, that just means that prices are going up less quickly. These high prices, they're permanent.
I think, unfortunately, for now, you're absolutely right. Meanwhile, yesterday in the House, they passed to the Senate that TikTok bill. Mm-hmm. They got to either sell it or it would face some sort of a ban. The big question is whether or not Chuck Schumer, the Democrat who runs the Senate, is even going to bring it up. What are you hearing?
I don't know what Schumer's going to do. I know this. I don't think he can ignore it because it got such an overwhelming vote in the House.
Yep.
I'm not going to vote to get rid of the platform for 170 million Americans until I'm sure. And by that I mean until I'm sure that the national security threat is greater than the First Amendment concerns. And the only way we're going to find that out is to be able to sit down in a classified briefing with the 17 intelligence communities and have them tell us the truth.
Well, it's interesting because Thomas Massie was on the House floor yesterday before the vote, and he said, and I've read the bill, and the language is broad and not very specific, but he said that the president would be given the power to ban not only apps, but websites. And there's just a lot of stuff in there that's got to be fleshed out. By the way, we've already heard from one former Treasury Secretary who says, I think I'd like to buy it. Here's Steve Mnuchin. Listen.
I think the legislation should pass, and I think it should be sold. I understand the technology. It's a great business, and I'm going to put together a group to buy TikTok.
You're trying to buy TikTok?
I am, because this should be owned by U.S. businesses. There's no way that the Chinese would ever let a U.S. company own something like this in China.
You said, have you already put a group together?
Yeah, well, I'm working on it.
You're exploring a group.
I've spoken to a bunch of people.
Yeah, we've spoken to a lot of people, too. And I'm sure you have, too, Senator. And one of the concerns about TikTok is a First Amendment thing, where, you know, if you have 170 million Americans and a lot of young people get their information from TikTok, that could be a 1A problem.
Yes, and look, it's important we're clear about this. Putting together the money to buy TikTok isn't the problem. The issue is whether the Communist Party of China is going to sell.
Right.
And buying TikTok's not going to do any good. TikTok is owned by a Chinese company called ByteDance, and the Communist Party of China controls ByteDance. So you can buy TikTok, and it won't make any difference if ByteDance still controls the algorithms.
Sure.
This is not as simple as it first appears. So The TikTok's not the problem. The Communist Party of China is the problem, and I don't think they're willing to sell.
I think you're probably right. They're really screaming about what we're doing here in the United States. Let's see what happens with Mr. Schumer. Senator, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thanks, Steve.
You bet. I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.